Hello, everyone. So, today I'm going to be showing a couple of games from my recent experience this weekend at the Four Nations Chess League. For those of you who don't know, this is like the major FIDE rated league in the UK, covering the Four Nations of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. They're very long games, so you have about, I think it's 90 minutes for the first hour and a half of a 30-second increment throughout, and then half an hour bonus time when you hit that 40 move limit. And my team is the Sussex Martlets. I was actually playing for Sussex Martlets 2 this weekend, playing as their first board, so in the 4NCL third division. And I played two games, one against a man called John Quinn, which I'll go through first, and one against Oliver Stubbs. So to look at my first game, so my opponent John Quinn is a bit of an older guy, very, very experienced. He had been as high as 2200 in the past, I think even above 2200. And my current FIDE rating at the time of this game was 1991. So by winning this game, I actually passed the 2000 FIDE mark in the live ratings for the first time. So that's good. I mean, so my ECF rating is already about 2240, but just because I haven't played much FIDE chess, I've never really got the chance to catch it up. So anyway, no further ado, I'm playing white here. So I'd done my prep and I knew that he was a sort of King's Indian player, which is why I decided to go for this line of the Fianchetto King's Indian. So the game developed like this, and we got this kind of tabia position of the Fianchetto King's Indian. When looking at my opponent John Quinn's games, I mean, you can go back as far as 1973 and see a draw with John Spielman at the British Championship. So, quite interesting looking at his game history. But I'd base this result, this prep, on a game played more recently in a similar line, where White had won. So he played knight d7, I played knight c3, he played e5. So this is all very standard. You can see a lot of games here, a total of like 11,000 games, where White wins a high amount of I mean, 39 versus 24% is pretty good odds. So I think that shows practically these positions are quite easier for White to play, even though it's only a 0.4 advantage. I think one of the reasons is people play the King's Indian is that they like to attack on the king side, and these sort of fianchetto lines kind of take away a lot of those attacking ideas. I sort of know this as a King's Indian player myself. It's one of the more frustrating variations to face. So I've played this move h3, which is a rather subtle move, and I must admit I don't fully understand it. It's just it's the second most played move. I mean, e4 is more natural, I suppose. Although e4 does have some downside in that it's quite committal, and I think the idea is h3 is a useful waiting move to control the g4 square, which is relevant in some lines. So what I mean by committal is once you play e4, there's always these ideas of like rook e8, queen e7, and taking d4 and pressuring the e-pawn. So it sort of gives an extra burden of responsibility to look after the e-pawn. And then if you're going to close a position with like d5 subsequently, well, then they can do the typical, King's Indian stuff. So I played this race move h3. And now he actually deviates from my prep of e takes d4. Because I was actually expecting a6, after which, obviously the idea to play b5. I was going to actually take at this point. He recapture like this. I play this move bishop here, c6, and then queen b3 was my prep. Which again, just 0.4 advantage, nothing special. But with an idea of playing basically just quite a simple play, putting the rooks in the d file, knight a4, and then there's like this cool move which I had prepped. One of them from English Grandmaster Joseph Gallagher. Actually, I might cite that game, so it'd be interesting to have a look at it against Joseph Gallagher, where he'd lost the black side of this. So anyway, bit of a tangent, but yeah, so that was my prep idea, but he simply played takes, and c6, which we've also seen in quite a few high-level games, although none like 2500 plus, so perhaps there's something a little wrong with c6. So more common is rook e8 here, or knight b6. So knight b6 I had looked at a bit, and I understood there was this strange line that went like this. Queen c2, and if they take this pawn, you simply sack a pawn like this, or a takes. So it's an interesting pawn sack idea, and I guess the point is the bishops are so dominant with your rook already in the center. You've got comp for the pawn, so that's worth noting as a possibility. I hadn't really looked at rook e8, as I recall here, but it just suggests playing e4 and getting a normal position. So I'll have to study this type of thing in future if I want to continue playing this line. Rook e3, I do not understand why the computer wants to play rook e3, but anyway, some position like this, perhaps. Interesting. So anyway, he didn't play any of that. He played this move c6, which is apparently slightly inferior. And I didn't play the main line with e4. I played b3, which is also fine according to the engine. He went rook e8, which is the main move. Bishop b2, which is apparently slightly inaccurate. Computer already wants me to play e4 here and just take the space, I suppose. Interesting. I play bishop b2, he goes knight c5. And I was reminded of this old game between like, who was it? I think something like Bronstein and Botvinnik or something, where Bronstein had this amazing like dark square control, and the King's Indian with like and I was like, oh god, maybe he's gonna play some kind of strategic masterpiece. But anyway, I played Queen c2, so we're still actually in book here. I mean, there's 16 games still, like some quite high level games as well. You know, Nigel Davies versus Hilart Persson. So I should cite this as well. Fedoseev even. I mean, Salem, some interestingly high-rated games still here. So worth studying this position. Queen b6 is the second most played move here. After rook d1 a5, and now we're really, I mean, 18 games now. So the Salem game. I mean, yeah. So loads to study here. I played bishop a3. Actually, the second most played move here. So it's really interesting when you've got a lot of time in your clock on like a 4 NCL type of event. You actually find yourself playing quite a lot better than usually. So he should have played this move a4 here. I played b4 and he goes knight e6. I actually saw all of this in the game and I was sort of wondering what I should do. I think I was planning on either taking and then playing c5 or something like this. Apparently I'm worse there, so that would have been bad. So all the other movements play like e3. He apparently goes d5. Can I play c5? So it doesn't like c5, the cemento move. It likes takes, 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 and queen c5 with some nagging pressure. Queen a7 is quite mysterious. Wow. I mean, interesting. So that's useful to know for future. Takes, takes, takes. For future, if I ever have this position, A4, B4, 96, E3, is anything other than D5. Let's say like he played like bishop D7, and I play knight F3 with good pressure on this pawn. So he kind of needs to, and now you trade into this. What happens if there's no, I suppose not, because something's hanging in either line. So you can trade into this quad's good endgame. I say good, I mean it's very small advantage, but it looks difficult to lose this, which is why I quite like it. Interesting. So I played bishop a3, and then he played this move h5, which apparently has been played before, but I actually think it's a bit of an inaccuracy. Computer now has me at like +1. I played what this dude played, Romeo Soren. I played e3, which feels quite natural. Your third computer still really wants to grab the space, which do you feel like if you haven't played e4 by this point, you're probably not gonna play it? But I think e3 is quite natural. And yeah, he should still revert to his a4 plan, but actually it's just a better version for me now because I've included e3, which is used, and he's included h5, which is not a helpful move. So he continues to push and goes h4, which is just a bad move because after g4, one of the key points is that I can now threaten knight f3. And he's no longer got bishop f5, so I saw that in the game. Anyway, my opponent have been playing quite slowly up to this point, and here I estimate up to total 90 minutes. I'd used about 15 minutes, and he'd probably used already 45 minutes. And now he's thought for 25 minutes at this point before playing the quite ambitious knight takes g4. Now, I think this pawn sack is just bad. I mean, so like takes. He's a whole piece, and the idea is clearly to kind of attack my king. I don't really think that I don't really think that my king is going to be under too much danger here because I know he's got these two pawns that can potentially get up the board, but his real big problem is that this queen is on, like, it needs to be on g5, and that's going to take 2 turns. So that's quite an important detail. Also, like, this bishop needs a turn. I mean, how do these rooks get in? Like, ironically, these two pawns actually serve as a bit of a defense for my king, because let's say this pawn wasn't here, he could do something like this, right? But this pawn's actually kind of blocking the h-file. So I think the problem with this sacrifice is that simply it's not going to be too easy to bring a piece over. So I plays with bishop f3, he plays bishop d7, I go knight e4. So is that the best move? No, apparently knight e4 is a bit inaccurate. It simply likes king h1, which I did play in a couple of turns, or knight e2. I suppose, where does that knight want to get to f4? Or maybe just with the idea of bishop b2 and trades. Yes, bishop b2 is a bit more human. I kind of understand that with some idea of like trading. But I played this move knight e4, which is apparently a bit of a blunder after he should play queen d8 here. I think I was planning on playing king h1. Now he can apparently sack. I mean, I'm still better. But apparently that wasn't the best move. So he played bishop b5, and I played king h1. I think, yeah, I think he needed to start bringing his queen round already, because this is a useful move, this is not a useful move. And in some lines, I'm actually the one attacking now, as well. So he takes and I recapture. I'm actually do already have ideas of like this stuff. So he plays c5. And this move I missed that the computer recommends is actually quite neat. It's bishop d5 immediately, with the idea that obviously if takes is going to be mating. Yes, directly because of this. I suppose this, but like something like this is naturally crushing. So I guess the improvement is that say you have spent a move doing this. I then think I reach a similar position at a tempo up. Oh, it actually wants a knight to go into b5 now. I mean, yeah, that's fairly deep. And if I sack this pawn, yeah, it kind of wants to start attacking. I think it's not the most human approach. I think what I played in the game is pretty natural with knight f3. But apparently does give him this opportunity for a4. Although it's now on a higher depth saying this is crushing. But okay, would have been a good try from my opponent. Like a4, he needs to get counterplay somehow, and I suppose this is a way of doing so, right? So bishop here, and now I was pretty confident I was going to win the game. He played queen c6. I played takes. Yes, here is when I realized I had a bit of problems. I was probably seeing ghosts. I saw that he had this idea of queen here and queen here, and I was thinking actually it's a little tricky to stop it. I mean, computers just like unfair, just said bishop b2, but I was sort of wondering about. Oh, I see. I can just go here, can't I? And it's nothing. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So bishop b2, and if queen d7, yeah, simply takes like this. Oh, knight h2. Yes, I saw this, but I didn't love the idea of having my knight on h2. Though apparently this is the top line, because I saw all of this in the game. Queen e4 with queen g2, maybe. Yeah, just trade, and this is super simple. Okay, but the solution I came up with was a little different, because I decided to play, I decided to swap and play queen d3. And my point is now, if he goes queen here, I can, yeah, simply play queen h2. I was also considering how to play e4 and just cover it this way. But in the game, he doubled on that file. I brought the bishop back. He took. I took with the queen. It's apparently a big mistake. Interesting. I think because it likes the idea of still attacking. I mean, queen takes, if you're confident this ending is winning, and I was quite confident this ending is winning, then I think this is the more, again, human way to do it. So he went queen back. I now play king h2. Rook here. I think you had to maybe try this, after which I'd calculated something like this. Ah, right. So some crazy line like this. I don't know. But yeah, I sort of I'd seen it up to this point anyway, and I assumed it would be okay. But rook e6, I was quite happy to see, because now he's just got like no counterplay. I'm just gonna take. So he resigned in this position anyway, with a few seconds on his clock. Okay, so that was that first game. So very good to get off with a win. The guy had a FIDE rating of 2070, so it was nice to get that win, crossed my rating over 2000 for the first time. Okay, so next game we played Oliver Stubbs as black, so we'll swap the board round. Oliver Stubbs outgraded me quite a lot in terms of FIDE rating. So he has 2200 FIDE. He's a candidate master. And yeah, so I was definitely the underdog. He's also higher than me ECF, so my ECF's around 2234. As I mentioned, he was about 2320 ECF. He's technically like in the top 100 players in England by ECF. So anyway, he played the London, and I'd prepped this a bit because I'd seen some of his previous games. I knew he always played the London, so he's quite simple to prep for in a sense, but obviously knows it very, very well. So this is quite a standard position from the King's Indian sort of response to London. Bishop e2, d6, h3. Yeah, knight c6, which is one of the main moves in this position. Another very commonly played move is c5 here, which he had loads of games, and I just don't really get the point of c5, like, intuitively, because when they play c3, I mean, they're sort of, you know, holding everything together in the center anyway. So I suppose just to have a look at this line, oh, it's a b6 and you sort of double fianchetto. It's an interesting line, the London, because in some ways it's quite unambitious. You're sort of just saying that you're going to have a very slight edge. But I guess the idea from the white perspective is like, k7's rook k7 and queen a8's are cool. Anyway, I guess the idea from the white perspective is like you're gonna have a position that you know better than the opponent because you played a million of them. So anyway, I played this move, and he played a move that I'd never seen before, knight c3, so I'm already out of book, which I was a little concerned about. The move I was expecting is c3, and I had quite a long bit of prep. I had like something all the way to like here prepped. Think I'd gone as far as this in my prep. Which is really quite deep. Anyway, so I was expecting that, but I didn't get any of that. I got knight c3, so I'm already out of book. And he told me out of game he's never played this before, so I couldn't possibly have prepped it, but he'd come up with it for this game. So I played knight d7, he plays queen d2, I play e5, he plays bishop g5, I play f6, he gets bishop h4. So he's actually got something reasonable out of this opening, because 0.5. So I should apparently not play knight d7 here. This is the point. I should play a6 and just switch plans. Oh, that's why knight c3 is clever, because it requires black to change plans. If d5, why the hell is knight a7 a move? I'll never understand chess. Is the idea to go like boom boom? Wow. Okay. Or e5, a bit more human. And if he interesting. So a6 to switch plans against knight c3 is the right idea. for future games. Because here he's already got a small advantage, and actually made a strategic error, I think, by playing too quickly these pawns. I think here just play the move King H8 and maintain the tension. With obviously these ideas, but there's no need to rush it, and a line might go castles queenside, rook b8, g4 to prevent f5, queen e8, and in these positions kind of resemble like a weird kind of King's Indian. So that's worth bearing in mind for future. The way I played in the game, I gave him apparently a big advantage, so he's already +1. He said that he'd prepped this, where he's going to go h4, g4, check, knight g5. Yeah, that would have been pretty scary. Yeah, and I need to somehow know that I can sack an exchange here. I mean, this is not, yeah, this isn't particularly human, right? I mean, yeah. So anyway, I did this because I assumed it was less scary. He now I think started playing a little bit wrong. So he should castle queenside here and now can go for me. So after bishop h6, you play h4. I need to take, he takes, and g4. And I think the point is, like, optically it looks like I've got some attack, but I think his attack is faster. I'm worse. I quite enjoy playing this position though with these two bishops. So yeah, interesting one. So you played h4 immediately, and I basically realized that it's super confusing after g4, knight g5. I don't know, she says something better here somehow. Oh, I need to see this sacrificial idea again. Oh no, sorry, that's just covered. Oh, interesting. And maybe this is the threat. Right, so I could have kept the tension like that, just play g4 immediately. But in actual fact, he should go knight here. Wow. Okay, so, but I took. And yeah, I thought he had to take like this. And I was considering if this is a thing. Because there's queen d5 in the end. No, rook f7. Wow, but just h5 and attack. Wow. So f4 probably isn't good. So I would have had to play g4, and then we get a similar version where he's got this big attack. Interesting. So that's how he should have played the position. In the game, he took with a bishop. I played g4. And somehow I wasn't that scared here. Yeah, so rook b1 was a mistake by him. I think what happened is he saw the f4 clamp from a positional perspective and therefore wanted to prep it. Whereas actually what the position demanded was castles queenside and an attack. So I think he took a positional approach where he needed to take an attack. Although why does it recommend a3? I mean, oh, it's different. Computers are confusing. Anyway, so I think rook b1 was a step in the wrong direction by opponent. I played queen e7, knight e2. So now I saw his point. He wants to clamp here. I put my bishop out here. And I saw all of this. So knight d5 is apparently slightly better. I was going to play queen f7. Now it wants castles with advantage. Fair enough. Should be 5. Does it want F4? No. Oh, you just let that be open. Clever. See, this is the kind of nuance that I think grandmasters pick up on. But here I'm already kind of equalizing. And here I'd fully equalize. So he needs a castle. He needs to maintain this tension. I must admit, I was relieved to see queen takes f7. I think castles. I was looking at something like this and I wasn't sure because I see rook a1. Computer's got some clever ideas, doesn't it? Interesting stuff. So he needs to maintain attention, but he took king e2, which he thought was a blunder after king. You actually think the castles is better, but computer says they're quite similar. And here I sort of have this check. So the point is, if takes wins an exchange, and if takes checks here with a better ending. If it goes back, I take, he takes, knight back, bishop here, rook here, with pressure, b4, f4, takes, rook d2, knight h5, some tactics here, rook b3, rook c2. Just worth noting you can't play rook c3 because I've got g3 as a nice intermezzo. And then if takes, this is attacking 2 pawns, so I'd have a winning ending. But he spots that obviously being a strong player, plays rook c2, play rook here, rook here. And here I offered a draw, which was probably the wrong thing to do. And looking at it now, yeah, I shouldn't have offered a draw here. I mean, computer says that I'm... What does it say at a high depth? Let's wait and see. At a high depth, I'm minus 0.4. So my opponent said that he doesn't think I should have offered a draw here because only black can be better and it's kind of risk-free, which I'm sure is true. I sort of wanted to like consolidate the good weekend of chess and gain 15 rating points or whatever, but this is probably the sort of position that I should be playing on. My advantages are that the king's more active than his king. The rooks are sort of tying down his rooks to the c2 pawn, and so on. And if he like breaks, then I just play d5, which looks very strong. If d5, I play a5, c5, I play d5. So the breaks are no good for him, basically, is an important detail. So I was thinking about something of this nature. And yeah, he needs to play like f3 with a slight advantage for me. Not winning, but maybe I'm pushing. So I shouldn't have probably offered a draw there, but as I say, 200 FIDE points higher than me, and I was just kind of happy to get something on the scoreboard for my team. Anyway, those are the games for today. Do let me know what you think, and yeah, enjoy your chess.